All right, am I live? Alrighty. Sorry, trying a different format here. Okay. Hey, Cora. Sorry, it's taking me a second to. I did a little something different with my online stream, so we'll just switch that there. No one needs to see my ugly mug. All right, so you can hear me, you can see me. Still can't get this streaming app or streaming to work with my Instagram, but you can see me on Facebook. All right, let me just check to see where I'm at here. Gonna remove that because no one needs to see my ugly mug. All right. So, okay, we're all good. So yeah, trying a couple different streams. You know what? I don't think I can get my Instagram to go. Doesn't matter. I can't switch to live anyway. All right. So every once in a while, I participate in this thing called Webhead Wednesday, as you can tell in the title. So just a quick shot at what I'm working on right now. Been doing TikTok Tom comics for the better part of 5 years now. And I'm still working on my last story, Pencils and Inks. But for now, I'm going to take a bit of a break of that and draw some Spider-Man. So, you know what? I am going to... There. See better now. And anyone out there, can you hear me? I want to make sure I've got everything working right here. So, what Spider-Man do I want to draw? I did a string of Spider-Man drawings not that long ago. Okay, good. All right. You know what? Because it's been a bit of a day, I'm going to use this piece of paper. I was going to try to make an adjustment to one of my comic pages after I inked it, but I decided nah. All right. So we're gonna. You know what? Work on a more classic Spider-Man because I have that in front of me for anyone that's wanted to do comic books. This is kind of a standard how to draw comics the Marvel way. I have the book, the VHS, which I still own. It is around my house somewhere, and I picked that up on DVD last year. So I'm going to try to emulate a classic Spider-Man. And okay, is the camera? So all my drawings kind of start off like this, with construction lines. Even though I'm not drawing a real face, a real nose under here. Let's see if I can. And one thing I was never aware of when drawing Spider-Man, or something I didn't pay too much attention to always, was the pattern of the webbing. Like, but there was a particular way to do that. So a lot of us had started collecting comics in the 80s and 90s. There was a bit of an artistic bent to add a lot of webs. I think even in the 60s too, the original creator or visual creator, it's a whole debate I'm not going to get into at this point. Used to add a lot more webs, but over the course of the later 60s, 70s, and 80s, the John Romita Sr. style was kind of established as the Marvel house style. And that meant that Spider-Man short eyes there, had smaller eyes. And again, not too much for webs, like 3 lines at the head, or at the top of the head, and 2 lines at the bottom, and kind of protrude there. So I am streaming this on 3 different channels at the same time. This is live on my Facebook page where Cora is, my YouTube, and my Twitch. I could not get my Instagram to work with this. Usually can't. It always, whatever the Restream app that I'm using to simultaneously broadcast on as many of my channels as possible, always seems finicky with Instagram, which is why you're watching this in a vertical setup instead of horizontal. So okay. Geez, you'd think with all the years I've drawn Spider-Man, I've never actually, again, all sorts of ways to do the webs, but and I draw all the way through. One, two. Okay. Okay, there is a. One thing I should really try one day is see how the webs kind of interconnect with the body once you get to like the anywhere more than a straight on shot here. It gets a little interesting. I don't know if anyone does this when they draw. I always turn the page. So if you're still on, Cora, what is up? What is going on in your neck of the woods. I'll have to watch that later. I'm trying to line these up. Now there's a couple of schools on Spidey's eyes here. That this mask does not move. That these eyes are physically stitched in. Yeah. Already I can tell I'm a little out of whack here, so let's see if I can fix that. This is probably overthinking a little too much, and just got back from Kingston Hospital. It's cold out, work. No, it is cold out. I know we live in Canada, but it is the middle of April. It should not be this cold. Oh, thanks. But yeah, I'm fighting. It's weird. Again, for a character I've loved since I was 2, and for someone that's drawn Spider-Man here with varying degrees of skill since I was 2, I'm having a more difficult time of this one, the classics. Because this was the version I watched in cartoon form, my earliest memory, since I was about 3, although the show stayed on the air considerably, even after new episodes stopped being made. They kept rerunning it on basic TV up until I was... Oh, hey, Mark. You caught me taking a break from inking to get a quick Spider-Man in. Well, it's not turning out super quick because I decided to draw the classic John Romita Sr. John Buscema version, and yeah, it's a little more not as simple as I'd like. But yeah, hi. Hopefully your phone is still active. Yeah, again, I'm trying to stream at the same time as on a few of my different things. So it looks like all of my... Oh, how many other watchers do I have? Okay. Oh wow, going on... It's been a while since I've actually been on Facebook with this. Like I said, I've been using a service called Restream, which is helps me stream on a couple different channels at the same time. And for last little bit, I've been exclusively on my Twitch and YouTube, but I changed it up a little bit. So doing a live thing on Facebook. This is supposed to be also streaming to my Instagram, but again, I don't think I can get that to work. I might have to make peace that um, my Instagram will not work properly with the restream, and I might have to go to my old methods and just use my phone and stream at the same time and hope for the best. So, yeah. But the next time I'll probably do a more widescreen shot. I can't change it while I'm going live. Now, the one thing that's really funny with old school Spider-Man is for the better part of 20 odd years now since the live. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Cora. Me going live is or with Spider-Man having movies last 20 odd years. With every second or third movie, kind of reset to that teenage, like graduating high school, early college. So anyone reading or anyone that's watching movies or the animated series that have been out in the last, I'd say 16, 17 years now, aren't from, like, probably wouldn't know that in the comics, Spider-Man actually aged a bit. I want to say mid to late in comic time, he's an adult, has his own apartment and all of that. But more importantly, Spider-Man is a little beefier than he's currently portrayed in the movies. So let's see. I think the last time Spider-Man was depicted in his 20s was the 90s animated series. So this is, I'm sorry if this is very basic. For anyone that's seen me draw Spider-Man, I usually confident enough to actually. Oh, hey Peter! You're watching too. Yay! Well, hello. I'm going to flat out apologize. It turns out I will not be able to make the Player One show that's scheduled next weekend at 8-Bit Beans after all. I did put that on my social media. Unfortunately, a very urgent family matter came up that I have to attend. So I'm hoping that I can make it back in town to at least be able to say hi to you guys in person, but we'll see. So, yeah. Yeah, it's no, it wasn't. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to be a fun time, but part of life, I suppose. So as I'm going through the webs here, I'm not worrying about right away making sure they're going in a direction. Yeah, I'm just kind of adding the overall pattern, because you don't have to be super elaborate with the webs. Again, I kind of grew up in that, or started collecting comics in that 90s era when there was like just a bunch of webs all over and giant eyes. So me kind of going back to this more traditional is a little weird. You know what? I think I'm going to make this a little even more traditional. Very few people realize that in the earliest of appearances, and up until I believe about the early 80s, all of the legs on the Spider-Man's front spider emblem here used to go down, like so. Somewhere, I want to say 1983, 1984, but I could be wrong. Um, I could even be a little earlier, could be a little later. It wasn't about that era where there were two legs up and two legs down, but yeah, very early Spider-Man. This is kind of how the legs went, and yeah. Um, so yeah, like I said, as far as 8-bit means, I will not be able to make, which makes me sad. It's the first show I've been able to commit to, and then I wasn't able to commit to it. But I am working something out with my local comic shop to kind of crash Free Comic Day. But yeah, just my work life balance is not being cooperative when it comes to shows right now. Actually, you know what I should do here? Well, try to line up the legs like so. But I think if anyone out there has Disney Plus, this interpretation of the spiderwebs did actually make it into the cartoon. And for anyone that does have Disney Plus, I would recommend watching the new Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Um, the animation's a little, yeah, no, yeah, it's the downside about not being paid professionally to do this, because we have, I'm going to say day job, um, just to indicate jobs um, that we do to pay bills that isn't this. Um, because I don't always have the best gauge on who's all um, on at once. There may be people who don't know me as well, but like when I'm not doing this on my spare time, I'm a steel worker and all that fun stuff. So that keeps the bills paid. Again, this would be the dream, but it just didn't work out that way yet. Maybe someday. But are you, Peter? Are you still attending the Player One event at that Mark put out for 8-bit? Sorry, I've never been good at multitasking. I draw and I keep looking to the side. That's where I have my. You are excellent. I'm glad. Like I said, I'm hoping to make it back from my other commitment at least in time to get in a quick visit before the show wraps up. But just realistically, the show is no longer doable for me. I was able to. I am tentatively planning the free comic book day at Worlds Collide. I believe Mark is at New Books. Trying to get some of my other cohorts from TikTok Tom to join me. I've kind of taken an attitude of I'm going to go if I've got my TikTok Tom people with me. Will be promoting the books. If I'm by myself, I'll still be promoting books, but I'll just actually see if I can sell my artwork. I'm still waiting to hear. Well, actually, my friend Chetan is still waiting to hear back on him. He has an application for TCAF, and I have a day off for. I have a scheduled day off to sidekick there. I haven't heard what's happening with that yet. I don't think Fan Expo is in the cards this year though. As it stands right now, I am working that weekend. I've not booked vacation time one way or the other yet. And it's been 2 years since I tried. But yeah, no, if I make it in time to see everyone, let me know how the show goes, and if it's successful, I'd like to participate. But yeah, this past year has been brutal for shows. Like trying to attend shows though. Both the Whitcalf and the Oshawa Library Fan Con both happened on weekends. I was working night shift, and it's always a little trickier to book night shifts off than it is day shift. The last time I was able to attend the Oshawa Fan Con in person, it was scheduled on a day I was working, but it was a day shift, so I was able to just take the one day off. Night shift, like with the way my shifts fall, it's always tricky. I feel like I have to book a few days off, and that burns through the vacation time pretty quickly doing like that. And again, that is the downside of not getting paid to just draw for a living. But yeah, so all right. A little raw and unrefined, but I've been called worse. So now the art I'm kind of referencing right now calls for the webs to kind of go through the spider a bit, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I like that idea. It gets to be too many lines. If I really wanted, I probably could have just done like a Spider-Man 66 version where none of these webs show up. Just has webbing on his face. webbing on his gloves and boots, and that's it. I don't know if it was just trickier to animate all the webs back then, which is weird, because I feel like they kind of just added a little bit of moving parts to comic panels, or if I got that mixed up with the other Marvel cartoons of the era. Marvel used to have a block of cartoons in the 60s. You can probably find them on YouTube, because I don't think they were ever formally released in any kind of legal media setup. Like, I don't know if you can legitimately buy them digitally or physical media. But yeah, they were some wild cartoons. They just took the panels from the comics and added like a talking mouth or blinking eyes. All right. What do I want to do now? Do I want to ink? You know what? I'll do some inking. Actually, I will fix that. I will fix that eye. I don't see it on the on my paper, but when I look at the camera, like, oh, that eye is off. I'm never been good at eyes. That still looks messed up. Might be easier just for me to fatten up. Oh my goodness, yes. That theme was, that was definitely going to say a product of the era. The Captain America one is a solid number 2 in my mind, but yeah, that Hulk one was, oh my goodness. Of those Marvel 60s cartoons. Oh, Lord. Okay. What? I think it is time for the inks. A couple of but yeah, that. I'm trying to think of what other pure cheesy cartoon themes for comic characters. One that sticks out in my head was the theme song for the 90s Wild. I'm not going to say 90s Wild, but the Wildcats cartoon. There was only one Wildcats cartoon, but I almost feel like I have to say 90s every time. I remember that because I first heard it at the first fan expo I attended. And that was the same year they were previewing it. And I was saying, and my friend John and I went, and we heard, we saw the preview at the booth. We laughed at the theme, and one of the lead producers that was promoting it actually came up and talked to us, kind of with a straight face. Didn't take offense to how bad we were cutting the song down, but actually explained how they actually came up with the song, the processes of what decided, how they went through test focus groups and test groups and all that. And no, it was kind of cool and kind of reminded me. I didn't think of it at the time, but um, now, like how much of a thick skin you'd have to have going into this business. Like, I mean, I guess back then when the internet wasn't quite a consumer product yet, it's one thing to kind of blast something with with the creative team there to tolerate it, but in this day and age where you can just say whatever you want on the internet with little to no consequence, like, but I just thought it was very neat. What other cheesy anyone else, Peter, Cora, anyone else that's on there? I've got my number counters are all over the place, so I'm not sure 100% who's all there, but anyone that is out there, um, weigh in. What's the cheesiest cartoon theme song? Doesn't even have to be superhero related. Like just a cartoon from your childhood that had the dopiest or cheesiest opening theme. And if there are any of my younger viewers watching, opening theme is how we used to begin a cartoon at the time slot. A lot of cartoons just kind of flash an intro and that's it. But deviating from the inks a bit. Seeing me make a little. Oh, geez, wasn't even on the screen. I could have completely faked this mistake, but made a bit of a mistake here. Well, made a lot of mistakes here, but one mistake here is I didn't quite have the spider lined up, but this is a quick fix. So I'm just kind of because I'm gonna blacken that in with a brush anyhow. I don't think I have the steady enough hand to get these. Astro Boy. Okay. Okay. That's funny. Oh, I have it in my head, but I'm trying to remember the gist of it. Like I remember it was a lot of words. Um, but yeah, that's one too. I remember anytime I'd go up um, visit my grandparents when I was a kid, because in Aurelia they used to have CKVR, and they used to rerun in the on the Saturday afternoon. They used to rerun like the really like even old for being kids of the '80s. Rocket Robin Hood, Hercules, the '60s Spider Man. Those were some pure cheese. I want to say Inspector Gadget was cheesy. But yeah, no, I can definitely see Astro Boy. Um, this is where I'm deviating in the inks. A little bit more ink to that one. And then yes, here. Just trying to think of what one would be a little more maybe not cheesy, because like a lot of these are cheesy, but they kind of still invoke fond memories. Trying to think of one now that like opening themes that were that were absolutely just not good. Um, I can't think of any. Actually, because it's been showing up on my TikTok feed a little bit more lately, and this is a little more from my teenage years. Sailor Moon, uh, the American the American Deke dub, when it was on network TV in the '90s, just before it kind of made its way to. I guess there was an arc that just kind of made it to YTV because it got canceled on network TV because I guess the ratings weren't quite there. But the reason the ratings weren't quite there is because on regular ass TV, they used to air that at some ridiculous time, like 5:30 in the morning. Yeah, like there are a lot of cheesy cartoons, but a lot of them still invoke fond memories. I can't think of anything that's genuinely awful. But I remember the main, like the network TV syndicated Sailor Moon. Okay, all right. No, yeah, no, thanks for stopping in and chatting. Definitely missed you guys. I'm hoping now that I've got this figured out a little more, I can stream on all my channels at the same time. But yeah, no, it was great catching up. And like I said, I won't be able to make the Player One show, but I'm hoping to try to get back into town while you guys are still there. So it would have been great to do a show with you and everyone. But yeah, no, definitely thanks for stopping in and chatting, Peter. It was definitely great. And yeah, hoping to be on soon or do this again a little more consistently someday. But, no, but yeah, thanks for chatting and keeping me company. I have to figure out a time to. Oh, did I? Oh, I did. I did make a mistake on that arm. Or that leg. Let's see if we can thicken that up a little bit. Maybe thicken it up here. I'm not going to do any, because the newer Tom Holland Spider-Man movies and current Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man actually depict like their lenses, but actually go as far as to depict them as kind of like camera shutters, which actually makes good, like perfect sense if you have to move the eyes. I'm going to try to treat these as stitched in, no high tech. Probably wrap this up soon ish. This has probably got to be the most old school Spider-Man I've ever drawn. Let that sit for a sec. Actually, it's not looking too bad on camera. I don't have a needed eraser on me at the moment. So, I'm just gonna check because I'm also streaming on YouTube and Twitch. That's where I've been going lately. All right. don't want to smudge my ink because I have noticed that is the downside of not using like old school India ink with the brushes or the quill tips, is that the microns and pocket pens, if you erase around the black lines too much, then it kind of rubs out the line, which is why typically when I'm drawing, like if I intend to take a drawing to color, I'll more often than not, I tend to lighten up on the, like I'll kind of erase the pencils until there's the faintest of pencil line, and then kind of let my colors do the rest. But because I'm trying to do a little more traditional, not have a lot of coloring, which you'd think would be easier. It's one solid color, but puts me in a spot where I have to rely on my inking, and because I've been figuring out things like my Copics, my Posca pens, and more recently watercolor, I'm starting to feel a little more confident in my watercolors. That the ink, if I add any ink, it's usually at the end, so doing this kind of what's meant to be the more traditional way, but perhaps I'm overthinking it. So, right, so I know Peter had to head out. Anyone else still out there? I still see a counter of people there, but again, I'm not sure. You're out there still, shout a what's up, what have you. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, that is cool too. I don't want to put anyone on the spot. Let's And if anyone didn't want to chat, I don't blame them. I mean, I'm just erasing right now. Kind of give up now if I have to blacken in the lines a little bit. This is where having the right eraser for the job would have worked. See, if I remembered to pick up a kneaded eraser the last 17 times I was out, I would have been able to peel off the graphite without messing up the paper. Actually, this isn't doing too bad. I guess I gave the ink enough time to dry. And because I've let this run for an hour. What the heck is wrong with me? All right. So we're going to expedite this a little bit. And because I'm not doing any complex shading, I'm just going to get my Copic wide and just cover as much space as I can. And hope that I have enough ink in here, because I never ever seem to, things always seem dry. I never come in with a plan. That is dry. Give me 1 second here for anyone still out there. R08. Yes. Huh. Caught it on the first try. So just gonna watch me fill up a marker here. So notice I am standing as far away from this as humanly possible, because I did not think to wear track pants or pajama bottoms or something that I wouldn't mind spilling on. Instead, I decided to wear a newer pair of jeans that I hope not to damage. Okay. Want that. Oh, I don't know what you are. Hey, I don't know who you are, but that does not look like something I want in my delete and ban. I have no, sorry, no, I have no tolerance for bots or anyone trying to sell me on some kind of marketing. Sorry, no. That's much better. So I'm covering a wide amount of spaces, but I don't want to overlay the black. What I've laid down for ink work, because sometimes the ink will smudge. I don't want that. And now that I've looked at the inking, my goodness, those legs are wonky. There's nothing I can do about it now. I am committed inks. Now, one thing I do like about my wide markers is even though it's nice and wide, I still have enough control and kind of, for the most part, get in here and get the tricky spots. So if I still have any human people following me online right now, say hi, what's up, or if you don't feel comfortable, again, that's cool too. I just want to make sure. I just came across a bot account, and again, I've kind of run out of tolerance for bot accounts or anyone trying to sell me a marketing platform marketing. Just again, just kind of it's the one thing, I'm crotchety and old. So I find the older that I get, I run out of patience for a lot of things. All right, so if there is anyone out there, I'm streaming on 3 sites right now. Anyone that feels comfortable, let me know where you're reaching me from. I've seen that a um, majority of my feed tonight has been my Facebook art page. All right, that is my body. And a splotch of blue. Fortunately for me, I do have a little brighter blue, a little darker blue than I would have liked, but maybe get some blue in here too. Let's kind of clean up some of these spots here. This isn't going to be perfect, but have a red that can... let's see, will this work? That's a pretty close match. There. A little bit of Posca, cover that up. I feel like I want to do something with that background. So what do I want to do with that background? Anyone want to weigh in? Anyone at all? No? Alright. You know what? How about I leave it blank then? And what we'll do is, realized I colored outside the lines a bit, so I'm going to take my white out Posca pen here and kind of neaten that up a bit. And also what I'm going to do is a bit there, there, and there. I've often said I'm kind of like the Swedish chef when I do my YouTube live. I speak incoherently, just throw my tools all over the place. There we go. Oh, there too. And I think R08, I will get a smaller coping can kind of get in on those spaces that there we go. I will get a larger white. Actually, let's clean that up a little more. Let's see. Get my R08 out again. And this is a lot of my back and forth. Tweak here, tweak there. Let's see. Okay, and this is why I usually do the Copics first, but I disregarded my own advice this tonight because the lines get a little washed out. So I'll add a little bit. So if there's anyone left out there, is there a Spidey artist that kind of sticks out a little more than the rest? Or even if you have a top 5. Honestly, the goats will always be, Steve Ditko will definitely always be the goat for designing such a timeless outfit. And John Romita Sr. for refining this. But, so those notwithstanding, my personal favorites, and this is not a list, this is just my personal favorites, and in no particular order. Goes out to Eric Larson, Todd McFarlane, John Romita Jr., and Sal Buscema. Again, there's a lot of, if I were to properly list the Spider-Man artists that I like, we'd be here even longer than the hour and 15 minutes I've taken drawing Spidey. Again, no slight to any other Spider-Man artists. I've rarely ever come across a Spider-Man that I think sucks, although I must admit, legs are really doing something weird for me here. But now I know for next time. And yeah. All right, so because I work shift, I can never commit to having like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing. But maybe the next time I come back, I'll do something different. Sometimes I like to show various stages of my pencil work. So I'm going to switch this up a bit. And I'm going to not overlay the... there we are. So, all right. So Peter, Cora, Mark, anyone else that's checked this out or is checking this out, thank you very much. And I hope to do this again very soon. Have a good night, all.